Well, the now Duchess of Cambridge wore a tiara that I think says an awful lot about the new royals.
In an unexpected moment, Princess Catherine makes a discovery that leaves everyone shocked. It is a hidden present from Princess Diana to her future granddaughter, now Catherine's daughter, Charlotte. It was an emotional moment for the royal family except for Queen Camilla, who became furious about the discovery. This present from Diana holds a great message and might be a lead to something deeper. What present did Diana leave behind? Why Charlotte? And why has it left Queen Camilla furious? Join us as we unravel the full story. A secret message from Diana to Charlotte. It was a quiet afternoon at Kensington Palace, and Princess Catherine had decided to take a break from her usual schedule. Each wall of the palace, each corridor, had witnessed decades of royal memories. Some beautiful and some painful, and some completely hidden. As Catherine moved through the rooms, a room caught her attention. The room was hardly in use and used to be a former nursery for young princes. When she took a step in, she noticed something odd. It looked like a creak, not from the old windows or the wind brushing the curtains, but from the floor beneath her feet. It was slightly raised, like it had been tampered with years ago. Curious, and admittedly a little excited, Catherine knelt down. She gently pulled at the edges, and it came loose with a soft pop. Beneath it was a small hollow space, and resting inside it, untouched by time, was a delicate velvet box, dark navy, dusty, looking somewhat mysterious. She carefully lifted it out, brushing off the years that had settled on it. Her heart pounded, not from fear, but from that sense of discovery, like she had just stumbled onto something personal. What she saw will leave you shocked. She opened the box slowly, and her eyes landed on a folded piece of parchment. It was aged, slightly yellow, and tied with a silk ribbon. When she untied it, her hands trembled on the first line. "To my future granddaughter," it read. Signed, Diana. Catherine froze. Princess Diana, the people's princess, the woman the world loved, the woman who had captured hearts with her grace, compassion, and boldness. This letter had been written long before Princess Charlotte was even born. But here, it was in her hands, waiting patiently through time. Her eyes scanned the words carefully. They were emotional, thoughtful, and deeply personal. Diana has written about the kind of woman she hoped her granddaughter would become. Strong, brave, unafraid to be herself. There was one line that struck Catherine the most, and that was the line that said, "If you're reading this, I wish for you to have the freedom to be more than just a princess." It wasn't just a message, it was a blessing, a hope that Charlotte would grow up knowing that her identity was not tied to crowns or titles, but to the woman she chose to be. It was Diana's voice from beyond, guiding, encouraging, loving. Beneath the letter, carefully wrapped in a silk cloth, was something else. A brooch. The brooch had its own story. Shaped like a delicate flower with a deep blue stone at its center, was unlike anything Catherine had ever seen. Though its exact origin remains uncertain, Diana was known for her love of sapphires and often wore heirloom pieces with sentimental value, like the Spencer tiara passed down to her by her grandmother, Lady Cynthia Spencer. However, Diana inherited it as a teenager, but later had it redesigned into something modern and meaningful. She once told her dresser that she hoped to pass it on to a granddaughter one day, but after her tragic death in 1997, the brooch vanished. Some assumed it had been misplaced. Others believed it was stolen. It became one of the many mysteries surrounding Diana's belongings. And now, decades later, it was here, hidden under the floor of Kensington Palace, protected and preserved. Catherine sat quietly for a while, staring at the brooch and the letter. She knew it wasn't just a family heirloom, it was a message meant to shape the future of the monarchy, a reminder of what truly matters, which was not duty, but humanity. After sharing the discovery with Prince William, the decision was made to keep both items secure in the royal vault. They agreed on one thing: Princess Charlotte would receive them on her 18th birthday. Not before, not after. Until then, it would remain a family secret, a private promise between Diana and the granddaughter she never got to hold. Catherine sometimes visits that vault, not to check on the items, but to reflect on how far the royal family has come and on the kind of woman Charlotte is becoming. Bright, curious, confident, just like her grandmother would have hoped. But one question continues to haunt Catherine. Why was it hidden? The royal household staff had been restructured multiple times over the years. It's entirely possible that someone loyal to Diana hid it away with the hope it would one day be found by the right person. Catherine often looks at Charlotte now with a sense of awe. There's something about her, the boldness, almost like Diana left a bit of herself behind in her granddaughter. Maybe that's what the letter meant. Maybe Diana knew somehow that Charlotte would carry her spirit. What began as a simple day of rest and a little cleaning turned into the discovery of a lifetime. The letter, the brooch, the message. They are not just royal keepsakes. They are a bridge between Diana and the granddaughter she never met, but loved anyways. But why was the present hidden so long? And how did royals react on finding out? Keep watching. Diana and the royals. Love, struggles, and broken bonds. Life inside the palace wasn't what Diana expected. From the outside, it looked magical. Castles, crowns, diamonds. The fairy tale every young girl dreams about. But behind the gold-trimmed doors and royal protocols, Diana faced a world that often felt cold, distant, and painfully lonely. She entered the royal family as a shy 20-year-old, but she soon became the most photographed woman in the world. People adored her, her smile, her fashion, her warmth. But that same love from the public created tension behind closed doors. Let's take a closer look at the relationships that shaped her time as a royal and the cracks that explain why her secret gift had to be hidden. First is Queen Elizabeth II. At first, the Queen was fond of Diana. She saw in her a kind young woman who could bring fresh energy to the family. Diana was polite, respectful, and eager to fit in. But over time, their differences became clear. The Queen was raised to be reserved, composed at all times, never emotional in public. Diana, on the other hand, was deeply expressive. She cried when she was hurt. She spoke openly when things were unfair. That openness made the Queen uncomfortable. There were no fights, no loud arguments, just distance. A wall of formality that Diana could never quite break. One palace staff member once said, "The Queen didn't dislike Diana. She just didn't know what to do with her." Next is Prince Charles, the heart of Diana's pain. From the beginning, something was off. Charles was 12 years older. He was under pressure to marry. Diana seemed perfect on paper, but their hearts weren't in sync. Even before their wedding, Charles was still emotionally tied to Camilla Parker Bowles. He gave Camilla a bracelet just days before marrying Diana. Diana found it. She knew, and it broke her. Their marriage was rocky from the start. Charles often seemed jealous of the attention Diana received. Crowds screamed for her. Headlines praised her. The world fell in love with her, and Charles didn't like it. He once reportedly said, "They've made her a saint. What about me?" The two finally separated in 1992. Their divorce became official in 1996. But the wounds never fully healed. Surprisingly, Prince Philip was another person that had a crack with Diana. Philip tried to be a support system early on. He had seen the pressure of royal life and wanted to help, but eventually, even that relationship soured. Philip, known for his bluntness, grew frustrated with Diana's public comments about the royal family. They stopped writing. Another bridge burned. Then, Camilla Parker Bowles, the name that haunted Diana's marriage. For years, Camilla was the other woman. At first, Diana thought she could trust her. But once she discovered the affair between Camilla and Charles, everything changed. The confrontation is legendary. Diana reportedly said to Camilla, "I know what's going on. Don't treat me like I'm stupid." Diana later said in interviews that that moment set her free, but it also deepened the pain. Then there is Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, Diana's one safe space for a while. Fergie and Diana laughed together. They leaned on each other during tough times. They were two outsiders trying to survive in a rigid institution. But the media began comparing them. Stories were twisted. Lies were printed. Tension grew between the two friends. Eventually, even that friendship cracked. Fergie later admitted, "We got lost in the noise. I wish we had found our way back." William and Harry, they were Diana's anchor. When the world felt cruel, she turned to her boys. She took them to McDonald's, to theme parks, Let them wear jeans and get dirty. She didn't want them raised in a bubble. She hugged them, laughed with them, made silly faces just to hear them giggle. That kind of love stuck with them for life. And to this day, Prince Harry says she was the best mum in the world. When it comes to Princess Anne, Anne was known as the hard-working royal. No nonsense. Very traditional. She found Diana too dramatic, too flashy. They didn't get along. Even when Diana poured herself into charity work, Anne wasn't impressed. She once commented that Diana did things for the cameras. It stung, but Diana didn't argue. She simply did more. Hugged AIDS patients when no one else would. Held hands with lepers. She led with her heart, not protocol. Princess Margaret. Diana and Margaret had a warm relationship in the early years, but that changed after Diana's famous 1995 TV interview. In it, Diana famously said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage." The interview shocked the world, but inside the palace it caused outrage. Margaret saw it as betrayal. She reportedly cut all ties with Diana after that, and they never spoke again. Also, the Queen Mother. She was kind to Diana at times, but behind the smile, her loyalty was to Charles. She never stood up for Diana publicly, never pushed for change. After Diana died, it was ironic and a bit heartbreaking that her funeral plans were based on arrangements originally made for the Queen Mother, as if the institution didn't know how to mourn her properly. Finally, was the Princess Michael of Kent. Diana never liked her. Many called her arrogant and out of touch. Once, she allegedly told a group of black diners to go back to the colonies. Diana found her presence cold, fake. She stayed away when she could. All these broken relationships help explain one thing, and that is that Diana didn't trust the palace to protect her heart. Not her belongings. Not her truth. Not her legacy. That's likely why she hid the brooch and letter. Somewhere, only someone with genuine love, like Catherine, would one day find them. The royal family had a lot of politics, too many secrets, and too much pain. Now, with the discovery of Diana's secret gift, those old wounds are opening again. Not everyone is happy, especially not Camilla. Diana fought hard for love in a cold palace. But why did it make Camilla snap? Before you think you know, hear this. Catherine's tears and Camilla's fury. Catherine sat quietly in the nursery at Kensington Palace. The velvet box rested on her lap. Diana's letter was in her hands, aged, delicate, and written in elegant script. Her eyes welled with tears. She had never met Diana, but this felt intimate. The one line that struck her deeply read, "If you're reading this, I wish for you to have the freedom to be more than just a princess." It wasn't just a wish for Charlotte, but was everything Catherine wanted for her own daughter too. To be more than a title, more than a face in a royal portrait. At the time, Catherine was quietly dealing with a personal health issue. The weight of public life, parenthood, and her private struggle often left her feeling drained. But this moment? It gave her clarity, strength. She took out paper and a pen. No speechwriters, no royal formality. She began to write. "My dearest Charlotte, be strong, face your fears, hold on to hope, love fiercely. Don't let anyone dim your light. You are more than a princess. You are your own person." Her handwriting wasn't perfect. Her words were raw, but they were real, just like Diana's. Catherine placed the letter beside Diana's and looked at the brooch again. It was a deep blue stone, shaped like a flower, glowing softly in the afternoon sun. A symbol of love passed through 3 generations. When Charlotte turns 18, she'll receive all 3: Diana's letter, Catherine's letter, and the brooch. A gift of love and a legacy. Meanwhile, at Clarence House, the atmosphere was very different. Queen Camilla stood in her office, phone in hand, eyes scanning the headlines. Diana's secret letter discovered. Catherine cries over Diana's words to Charlotte. Diana's love beats Camilla's crown. The anger she felt wasn't just about the letter or the brooch. It was about what they represented. Diana was back again. After all these years, after all the silence, Diana was back in the headlines, in people's hearts, as if she had never left. Camilla felt rage rise in her chest. She had spent decades trying to move on, trying to step into her role as queen consort with grace, trying to rebuild her image. But now, thanks to a forgotten letter, everything felt fragile again. What felt worse was that the public wasn't just falling back in love with Diana. They were falling for Catherine too. The headlines praised her. Social media was flooded with comments calling Catherine the new Diana, a woman of grace, heart, and quiet strength. It stung. Despite the crown on her head, Camilla felt small, overlooked, rejected. She had waited a lifetime to be accepted, but no title could change what people felt in their hearts. Diana still held their love, and now Catherine was claiming it too, effortlessly. Camilla ordered that they search everything, every archive, every room and every file that still has Diana's name on it. She needed to know if there were more that could suddenly make headlines. She gave the order privately, ensuring that no one outside her trusted circle knew. She wanted to protect the crown, and maybe herself. Behind the scenes, royal archivists began combing through records, old boxes from Althorpe, stored clothes from Kensington, sealed drawers at Sandringham. Anything related to Diana was flagged, reviewed, locked away, if necessary. One staff member, speaking anonymously, later said she wasn't just upset, she was shaken. You could see it in her eyes. This wasn't about jewelry. This was about memory and legacy. While Camilla tried to erase shadows, Catherine held on to them. She visited the vault again that week just to check or at least feel the connection. She believed the public had a right to remember Diana. But more than that, she believed Charlotte had a right to know her grandmother. And though Camilla was busy burying the past, she didn't know one thing. Diana left more. Camilla tried to erase Diana's shadow. But what she didn't know? Diana left more hidden treasures. And you won't believe William's reactions to this discovery. What was discovered will leave you surprised. The royal vault and the legacy meant for Charlotte. Deep within Kensington Palace lied the room few know about, tucked behind a paneled wall. No one can say with certainty who hid the present there. Some believed it was King Charles, then Prince Charles, who may have tucked it away around 2003, when public scrutiny over Diana's legacy was still sharp. Perhaps it was a decision to protect the family from more media storms, or perhaps to avoid facing personal guilt. Others believed something gentler. A few retired staff members say it was Diana's former housekeeper and butler, two people fiercely loyal to her. They claim Diana often spoke about creating time capsules for her sons, and possibly for their future families, quiet gifts for a future she wouldn't live to see. One former royal archivist, now living in Cornwall, came forward anonymously. Diana was preparing for more than just royal duties. She was preparing to be remembered as a mother, a woman, and a guide. There are more capsules like letters, photos, trinkets. I helped pack some of them. She called them her heart notes. That revelation sent a ripple through the palace. Suddenly, the discovery of the letter and brooch wasn't just sentimental anymore, but became an urgent call. Royal staff launched a quiet operation to check every royal property for similar items. Sandringham, Balmoral, Windsor, Althorpe, old boxes in dusty attics, chests in forgotten closets. Camilla's orders were clear to secure everything while Catherine asked to share what matters. Catherine saw the brooch and letter as more than relics. They were a message meant for a moment like this, a reminder to do more than just follow royal routine, to raise Charlotte with both dignity and freedom, to teach her that duty and identity don't have to clash. She began speaking with educators, advisors, even modern women in leadership roles, quietly shaping a future where Charlotte wouldn't be caged by tradition, but shaped by it, with her own voice still intact. When Catherine handed William the letter, he didn't speak. Not at first. He sat down, gently holding the pages. His thumb traced the edges, as if trying to feel her touch. The brooch sat beside him, sparkling softly. His mother's favorite shade of blue, her style. He blinked slowly, then lowered his head. No dramatic gestures, just silence. But it said everything. He later told Catherine, in a rare moment of vulnerability, that Diana's presence felt like it was near him again, and that she must have loved her future granddaughter. For William, the pain of losing Diana never fully faded. He was just 15 when she died. The memory of walking behind her coffin still haunts him. This letter, this brooch, it brought back warmth, but also weight. He felt a sudden pull not just as a son, but as a father, and as the future king, to protect her story, to honor her hopes, to guide Charlotte the way Diana once guided him with love and bravery. Since then, William has become more involved in how Charlotte is raised in the public eye. He's more protective, more hands-on. Many of Diana's personal items were locked away after her passing. The world grieved, and her sons were too young to understand what had been lost. But now, her jewelry is being seen again on Catherine. And every time Catherine wears a sapphire earring, a pearl bracelet, or that famous engagement ring, the world remembers Diana. These pieces remind people of the woman who hugged strangers, walked through minefields, and held AIDS patients' hands when others looked away. They remind people of her warmth, her truth, her courage. There were rumors once that Camilla had tried to claim some of Diana's pieces after marrying Charles. But Charles made a bold move. He gave Diana's most iconic jewels to Catherine. To the public, it was the right decision. Catherine was loved, respected, and seen as Diana's spiritual successor. Catherine never flaunted them. She wore them softly with grace, often on quiet occasions, small charity events, intimate moments, always with care. And now, one more jewel has been added to that legacy: the brooch, set to be passed down to Princess Charlotte on her 18th birthday, along with 2 letters, one from Diana, one from Catherine, 3 generations apart, but one vision: to love boldly, to lead gently, and to live freely, even as a princess. What do you think about Princess Diana's present? Do you think Catherine will handle it as the late princess hoped? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You'll enjoy it.